You want me to intro, right?
Yes,
Hey. Welcome to Asia on America on IntellectualRadio.com. This is Sam I Am checking in one time. We got something new for y'all. Asia on America. D-Rob, you know what I mean? Venus versus Mars, if you will. All types of things will be going on this show. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce the lady of the house, Miss Asia. How you doing?
Woo. I'm just kidding. Hey, thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to put my view on America, my little spin. As everybody know, I'm very crazy social on social media. Just want to bring it on a platform, let the world see. My lovely co-host D-Rob in the building.
Hey,
What's going on?
looking good.
Thank you.
Smelling good.
Asia. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm into her. Okay. So yeah, my name is Davalise. My handle is D-Rob. Father of three, lover of Chicago and everything that Chicago is about. Lover of my community, the Black community, the brown community, lover of youth, anything sports. That's me. So wanted to be here to share with Sam and Asia, talking about different topics and whatever we can do to help our community.
Yeah. So that was a lightweight introduction of the host of Asia on America on IntellectualRadio.com. You know, we got a few things we're gonna share with y'all today. We're gonna hit it a little hard, we're gonna hit the ground running, we're gonna get right into it, we're gonna have a little fun too. So before we do, we're gonna take a break. Once again, Asia on America debut on IntellectualRadio.com. We got a call-in number that's 708-223-8953. You'll get a chance to use that later.
You want my love. You want my love. My love won't change. Got me riding on the rocket on the way to the top. A half a mile from heaven. You drive me back on this cold. This oh so cold. You drive me back on this cold world.
Welcome back. This is Asia on America at IntellectualRadio.com. As my co-host stated, we want to hit the ground running. We want to talk about something that's really important that's going on in Chicago, and that is gun violence. Over the last couple of days, we've seen on social media, on news, about some shootings that have taken place with us, obviously a little girl. Also, the young lady in the back of the yards who was pregnant got shot. She was a witness to a crime, and she was testifying against the perpetrators and got gunned down. This is a problem that we see all the time. It's a huge problem in Chicago. What can we do about it? Is there anything we can do about it? Is there anything collectively? I know we all say we want to pray, we want to do this, we want to do that, but together collectively, is there something that we really can do? Dov?
I don't know. Short answer, yes. But there's a lot of things that I think we can do. But there's a history of this in Chicago. I read an article in the Tribune yesterday, and it talked about 6 decades of murder in Chicago. And so we got a pattern of this. And so looking for an easy solution, we already know that's not there. But this article talked about the pattern in which, murder and, crime has taken place in Chicago. And they hired some professionals to talk about why these murders happen. And over the past 60 years, Chicago has seen 70,000 plus murders. 27 times has the murder rate been over 700 in a year, with only 19 times has it been under 500. So in the 60s, 60s marked doubling interest in murders. First time ever in a city that the decrease in the population. Can you imagine that? In Chicago, the population was decreased. Civil rights movements were a key factor, highlighted by the killings of Black Panther leader Fred Hampton in December of '69. Hold on.
Yeah. Let me chime in a little bit on that. We run the risk, or I run the risk of, touching some sensitive things when I go into my personal view on the way things shape up over history in Chicago alone, because that's something we most familiar with. With the Panther movement, as well as any other organization that was for the people, that seemed to be a direct target on their back. You know what I mean? There were a few ventures from higher ups, or the powers that be, if you will, that promoted and influenced and implemented certain things that affected our communities, and that needs to be addressed and acknowledged in order to be able to come to some sort of solution.
Are you saying that the ramifications of the Panthers is what is a direct correlation to shootings now? I'm kind of confused on that. Can you clarify that for me a little bit?
Well, let me show you the direct correlation. The Panther movement was for the people. It was about protecting our own neighborhoods, creating an economic structure within ourselves, and taking care of ourselves as a whole. Now, with that type of self-sufficiency, the element of control from one party to another really has no place. If each party is able to be self-sufficient, one doesn't need other to be big brother.
So bring that back to where we are now. How does that coincide with where we are now? Because a lot of kids are not familiar with the Panthers. They don't know what they stood for. They don't know their names. They don't even have that same type of pride in themselves or their people to even feel as though they have to have arms to protect the neighborhood, to protect the women. Because as we see, there's a lot of women being shot. There's children being shot. So how does that tie in together, especially when they don't know their history?
Okay. Well, let's go to something that they're familiar with, which is gangs.
This is true.
The organizations in Chicago.
But there are not a lot of gangs in Chicago as well. We have these little sets, this little bebop set, this dop set. There's not a lot of structured gangs as what it was when we were growing up. You knew this was such and such territory. This was such and such territory. Now it's just these subsets.
Yeah, of course. The whole element of divide and conquer from the Panther area was implemented then and enforced through decades in our neighborhoods. This is why the unity broke down further and further and further and further, because it was divide and conquer in the first place.
Dav, what you got to say about this?
I agree pretty much what he's saying. It was definitely part of the plan. Like I said, I agree with this article a lot, and it talked a lot about the 60s being a time where civil rights movements were a key factor in murders. But in the 70s, it was said that the typical indoor acquaintance murders and the summer night murders were of no more. You started to see a lot more senseless, irrational, spontaneous murders, for no reason. Even in 74, city of Chicago's deadliest year, it was 970 homicides. during the recession, and street gangs started to position then, for drugs.
So when you say the recession, then that means that the economic decline has a lot to do with guns and violence and drugs as well, correct?
Absolutely. But, in Chicago, I think it was just a different dynamic, the path in which everything flowed from the, us having a distance from the police into, that being created from Black Panther situations and other civil rights movements into the positioning into coming into the drug market. And so that further created that distance, and then, like I said, with the recession, a lot of people reached more towards drugs, whether it was for coping or whether it was for to make money because, the recession was here, and so once the 80s began, the street game emerged even more. And that's when a lot more gang murders happened. We had 97 homicides of children during a 748 murder a year in 84, and so even in that year, we had John Paul, the Pope, and also President Ronald Reagan. They both were shot in during a time when there was a ban on handguns in 1982.
Let's not do that because I'm a conspiracy theorist, so move along.
Okay. Well, let's also remember that crack cocaine hit hard in the 80s too.
This is
so
true.
When crack cocaine hit hard in the 80s, then we had a lot of gangs that were positioned to start, creating money and getting money. They had easy ways to get guns, and so they started having territorial beefs about crack cocaine. So murder was there, and so I think that through the 60s through the 90s, we started to get this mentality as Chicagoans to have some sort of thick skin about murder. We have, we just have some different types of coping mechanisms that we started to employ that we created for ourselves because of the times that we were going through, especially losing people to crack and death. And, in 84, we lost Simeon great Ben Simmons to gun violence. And that was like a big eye opener to a lot of people that gun violence can take away a lot of our futures. We had big expectations on him and we lost him. And that was just one of the recent histories of somebody that we lost that we loved that never made it just because of gun violence.
Well, in a country that is built on war and treason, why do you think that Chicago is just always singled out as such a big murder capital? I mean, we know the statistics, we see the things on the news. Crime and drugs are everywhere in America. Why is it such a focus on Chicago? I mean, I can remember talking to a guy a couple years ago. Can I curse on this place?
Of course.
Oh no, I cannot curse. Okay.
Okay.
Well, he said that a Chicago nigga was the most scared nigga in the country. Is that has something to do with it? I mean, you said, like, I wanted to touch on that about that thick skin. Is it because we have this, notoriety as being tough, and so a lot of things are put on us?
Well, in short, it's that's a media landscape able to, because someone in Denver or Mississippi, they haven't been here, they don't know what's going on, so the only information they getting is through media, newspapers, and now in this era, in a high speed internet realm, the information is coming through, live TV. You can show what's going on, but that's something to be aware of as well. Because say something jumped off and somebody up their camera, up their phone, and started to, film what was happening. You got to understand that there's a lot that camera phone didn't capture. You know what I mean? So, we'll be careful with that. We'll touch on that in a few seconds. We're going to take a short break. Once again, it's Asia on America on IntellectualRadio.com.
Let me do my Arsenio. Woo, woo,
woo,
woo,
we
woo.
going, we talking about gun violence and a few more things. We'll be back in a second. Once again, Asia on America on IntellectualRadio.com. That call-in number is 708-223-8953.
You want my love won't change. Got me riding on the rocket on the way to the top. I have a mile from heaven. You drive me back on this cold, this so cold world. You drive me back on this cold world. Hey. from heaven. You drive me back on this cold.
Asia on America again on IntellectualRadio.com. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about why we even are here. Davalise, we've been knowing, as well as Sam, we've been knowing each other for a long time. I won't put my age out here. They older than me. But
We're gonna put ours
we've been knowing each other for a while. And we are all, friends on social media. And I'm always, have so much things to talk about, so much insight, a lot of jokes and things. And I've always thought about having a podcast, even before it became so mainstream. Everybody doing it now, because I always had something to say. Martin was my favorite show. He was always tripping on WZUP. So that was something that I always wanted to do. So just tell me a little bit, Davalise, about how did you, figure this was something that you want to do and why you want to do it with me. I mean, of course, I'm me, but tell me why you want to do it with me.
Right. I mean, that's why.
Okay.
But
sound like he got shades on.
Left
him in the car. You know how to act.
Well, I think I was searching for an outlet on the west side of Chicago, and I've been I've been on the wrong side of things before, and throughout my life, I think I've learned that I've been a servant of my community. I like to help other people with their situations. I like to service connect. I like to get information. I like to share perspective. I like to get perspective, and I'm into that. So, 15 years of being a program coordinator, manager, director on programs for youth. It helped my soul. It showed me that even some of the works that I've done before this touched me. You know what I mean? Being able to help kids go to college, help them go to after school programs, help them to get summer jobs that they didn't know of. I love being a servant in that manner, and so I built a nice little, group of people that I socialize with or I network with. And I like, the direction of things that they're going in. And so to use this as a platform to help grow the Black community, that's what I'm here for.
Okay, I like that. And the distinguished Quincy Jones over there with his hit record Succotash.
Actually, I'm coming out with a label, called Yardbird Production.
Can we get some money on this free plug?
We'll talk about that later. Don't put my business out there. Now, that'd be Yardbird Productions. Got a band called Chicken Grease.
Are you serious or what? You got these shade on. I can't tell.
Can I talk right now? The
excuse
band
me.
Chicken Grease. They smash single, A Leg, A Thigh, and A Biscuit. You know what I mean? And on the B side, we got the B side is Coleslaw.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? They'll be doing their first show at the Picnic.
Which picnic?
Don't matter. So, that's what I got coming up. And I want y'all to stay tuned, and be hungry. You know what I mean? And we're going to do it like that. But I wanted to check
get it right
on IntellectualRadio.com. We'll be sponsored by the Parfait Parlor. Now, we'll get into that later.
Okay.
We'll get into that later because it ain't everybody's business. But it's a business.
But you putting it on the air, that's everybody's business.
So let it happen.
Okay.
The very next show will be sponsored by the Parfait Parlor. We'll talk about the logistics of that after we get off the show, and we're gonna put that together because I would like to hear more of what Asia on America has to offer. You know what I mean? Like I know you cats for a long time, and I know that you have something to say, a perspective to offer, So it's a good thing to see y'all out here, on the airwaves, on the frequencies. You know what I mean? And like my shirt says, if y'all can't hear it, it say vibrate higher. We'll get into that too. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But we here, definitely here, excited about what's going on. not only are there plenty of things to talk about that's not so good and things that need to be changed and worked on and fixed, but there's a lot of good things going on out here and a lot of good people, and we want to shed light on them. Businesses, entrepreneurs,
community-based events.
Community-based events, people that help out that you might not get to meet or get to speak to, or get a chance to know a little bit about them. So we're gonna touch on all that. It's a fresh, new platform for us all. I'm gonna come through whenever needed. You know what I mean? Or whatever y'all have me. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna do it like that. But I'm excited to be around with y'all. Y'all know how we do.
Long as the parfait sponsoring, you can come through anytime.
That's what we looking for.
I said the next show.
Let's talk about longevity.
After that. I just told you that come in the street like that. But we here.
Okay, I think we're gonna have one more break. This is Asia on America, IntellectualRadio.com. You can call in at
708-223-8953. My love won't change. Got me riding on the rocket on the way to the top. A half a mile from heaven, you drive me back on this cold, this so cold world. You drive me back on this cold world.
We're back, Asia on America on IntellectualRadio.com. So, like you said, this is the pilot episode. We're just throwing everything out there. Now I want to talk about the dynamic between Black women and Black men. Oh. Where are we? Where's the disconnect? What is going on with this and that?
God.
I mean, oh your God, what? I love Black men. I am y'all biggest supporter. But I just want to know, where is the disconnect? Where's the unity? I mean, it kind of ties back to our first topic. We're not going to get back on that, but that kind of ties back, like the breakdown of the structure between a Black man and a Black woman. It leaves a lot of single parent households, a lot of fathers out of the household. Where is the disconnect and how do we get it back?
Well, let me just say this to start. When I was like, oh my God, I was just speaking on the weight of that conversation.
Right. I didn't want to jump.
It's cool.
We can talk for 80 days on that.
Of course. Well, that's a heavy one. You want to go there? Do we have enough time? Right. You know what I mean? But it's, I don't want to be the first to speak on that.
Well, Davalise, let Davalise speak.
I don't want to be the first to speak on that.
Which part of the dynamic? I mean, it's such a big thing. I mean, you speak about single family homes, and I think when you start to talk about that in this day and age, for me myself, I'm very opinionated. I could be wrong, but I'm very opinionated. I think there's a lot of people who don't try as hard as maybe older people in their relationships anymore. So that's what leads you to have a lot more single family homes, and it becoming a usual thing, and kids just find other people for father figures or mother figures when that other parent is missing. But for me, it's too easy to replace you. It's too easy to replace me. I mean, we already knew we had those options, but right now people just, I give it a little bit of try. And if you ain't what I'm looking for, I ain't gonna work with you. I'm cold. I got too many other options. I'm gone.
Are you speaking of yourself specifically, or because this sounds very personal? You like dusting your shoulders? Put those shades back on. My goodness. Okay, dust them off.
Personally, because not me personally, because I'm a fighter. If I invest my energy, I plan on investing my energy fully there. It took me a while to get to that point, but that's what it is. But right now, I think I see a pattern of people just not caring as much and not investing as much time. They just want to move around. They feel like time is of the essence, and they shouldn't be wasting it where they don't put as much energy. Or
Sam, what you got to say?
I want to say, how do you feel about the dynamic? Because as a man, And the alpha male at that, I would like to know a woman's perspective right off the back. Like, how does this look to you? You know what I mean? As far as what's going on or what may be going on.
And you brought it up.
Well, I might be in woman code, but a lot of women are in this microwave type of society, instant gratification. They looking for somebody to validate them. They using their body as an attractive mechanism, and they letting basketball wives run them. So they don't want a man in progress. I personally don't want a man in progress either. Not to say that I won't, but I'm kind of past that. I'm not getting into that right now. That's another show.
That's exactly where you're going.
No. I've had a man in progress. I'm at where I need to be in my life, so I need somebody that's going to be able to supplement me. I don't want to have to pull you along. We almost up there. I'm not gonna say, but we almost up there. But for the most part, a lot of women, they don't want an alpha male. They say they do, but they are not really ready for an alpha male, because having an alpha male is really hard to deal with, because he's going to be in charge. He's going to be in control, and not like in a controlling thing. And a lot of women don't want to be submissive because they feel as though being submissive is being in check. When in actuality, you should submit to an alpha male, especially if he's taking care of his business.
Let me chime in on that then. It's so easy, and so what we used to and kind of trained to do is to act as if balance can't be reached or is not needed. I conversate with a lot of adult women just in conversation. We talk, and the purpose or the having that conversation being brought to a head, the balance end of it, because I've heard, hey, I want a man to lead, when a lot of them be lying when they say that, and I'm just being real. But even that that perspective or that angle or that way of looking at things, it's like, for me, just having common sense, leading the way should be done by whoever know the quickest and easiest way there.
This is true, but a lot of men don't want to be led as well.
Hold on, because it's all too important on both ends in order for this to happen. So it's just like, if me and you was in the car and you was behind the wheel, maybe you felt like driving, maybe I had just got off of work or something like that, and I'm, I need some rest, or we on road trip. You know what I mean? We know where we going. We got our directions, we got our GPS on. What's the matter with you driving?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Or just say we had a destination we was trying to reach that was near your job, right? I'm driving, but I'm acting like I can't take direction from you when you say, hey, if you cut through this alley and make a left, we'll be right there.
And I mean, we've danced around this, but still, where is the disconnect? Where is it? Is it because men don't want to lead, women don't want to listen? Is it too many options out here for social media land? Are we being led by our flesh and not by our spirit? Where is the disconnect?
Well, the reason why I didn't want to speak first, because
you long-winded.
Okay. Only when somebody talking to me. Right. But the only thing, the reason why I didn't want to speak first is because what I got to say about that is without filter. It's broke down to the least compound, to the smallest of fraction, and which that is broken from the door. If we had an equation to figure out, a math problem to figure out, and the first line on this equation, if that's messed up, then you ain't got to worry about getting none of the rest of the problem right.
Davalise, what you got to add to that?
disconnect. I mean, we disconnected in so many different ways, like he said. What I think a lot of people are following is images, online. It was funny, like you said, basketball wise was what they look up to. Well, I think it's whatever celebrity they feel like they can relate to, they following them. And I think one thing about celebrities, and I'm not down on celebrities, but they got options. And so a lot of celebrities, they pick a relationship, they stay in it for a term of time, and then they move on, and then it just looks good for them on the outside that they was married to, I don't know, I'm just saying Brad Pitt, and then they married, I don't know, whoever, you know what I mean? But
say some black people next time.
I'm just saying, I don't know if we get married like that. That's a whole nother subject. But
wait a minute. Sidebar. So you saying black people don't get married?
I mean,
celebrity.
That.
That's what he said. I'm just going. Play back the tape. He said, "I don't know people that get married. We don't get married."
Me yet, so
you rather personal on it.
He is. Let's call ladies 708-223-8953. He is what is you're a Leo. He like long walks down the beach. His favorite color is red. Let's get this man hooked up.
Don't call. I see. You know what? It might work right here.
Stop playing, dog.
I'm talking about you listening to Asia on America on IntellectualRadio.com. You know what I mean? We're gonna take one more little break before we wrap it up. And we'll see you in a minute, man. Once again, it's Asia on America on IntellectualRadio.com. Asia, D-Rob, Sam I Am on a special guest, 708-223-8953.
You want my love. You want my love. My love won't change. Got me riding on the rocket on the way to the top. A half a mile from heaven. You drive me back on this cold. This so cold. You drive me back on this cold world.
This is Asia on America, IntellectualRadio.com. This is our last segment. I just want to say I really liked everything about this. I am so ready to go viral and get rich. I just want to publicly, thank these two gentlemen. As I stated, they came to me with the idea. I've been really, putting it out there on social media.
No, we didn't.
What happened?
This is your idea.
It definitely is my idea.
You just ran it by us, and then voila! Don't be acting like that.
You ran into the right one.
This is true. I ain't want to get too big headed. I ain't got my first check yet. But yes, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I bet
you Poochie will be here next week.
Poochie will definitely be in the building, big shades and all. But now, for real though, I really do want to thank you too for entrusting this in me, putting the fire behind me, because I would have been very lackadaisical about it and would have just been talking about it and living this pipe dream. But I appreciate you two guys immensely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate you too. For me, it's gonna be something that I really want to do. I want to challenge my perspective. I want people to call that number. I want them to call in and challenge my perspective. As a man, you grow up and you see things and you learn and you feel like you mold yourself into the man that you are based on, what you see. And I want this perspective challenge. I want to grow from it. So I'm thanking you for that, because, we can do it on social media. You can ask people different questions on social media, but I want it right here. I want them to bring it to my chin. If I'm wrong about it, bring it to my chin. I want to learn from it. So that's what I'm excited about, getting better.
Yeah. I'll just say, when it was brought to my attention, and with 2 times the energy, you know what I mean? I heard from Asia first, and then when D-Rob, reiterated and was getting excited about it, there's layers of energy for me. So that was enough, you know, and by me knowing you two, I'm knowing that, oh shit. Oh, excuse me. This gonna work.
Swear jaw. We need a swear jaw up in here.
Pardon my French, you know, pardon my French. You just flowed out like that. But, you know, like I said, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with this here. I know I done my part in making sure the electricity in the building don't do nothing but vibrate higher. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all very well. That's why I had to let you know hey, this is the next step. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to see and feel. You're going to be great at it. I know it.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I'm blushing, y'all. Y'all can't see me.
It's all good. You know what I mean? I knew when it came through with a couple of layers of energy that, you know, I needed to be involved. And here we are. It's already, you know, we done started something. I'm enjoying myself. I'm buzzing and all that.
CMB, we all we got.
You know what I mean? You know how we gonna do it.
Ladies,
you know
don't forget his favorite color is red. He out there. He done put it out there twice.
I'm
708 223 8953.
I'm the love doctor, y'all. Get on up out of here. You know.
Thank y'all for listening. Asia on America.
On IntellectualRadio.com, y'all. That was that first step. We're going to holler back. Asia on America at IntellectualRadio.com. D-Rob. Asia, of course. The first lady, the lady of the house. Sam I Am, the special guest. 708-223-8953. Y'all can chime in for these last few minutes. But we going to relax and let y'all have at it. Vibrate higher. One.
I have a mouth from heaven. You drive me back on this cold. This oh so cold. You drive me back on this cold.